Well, I think I will just open without my video on, if that's okay. So everybody, can you hear me? Can you hear my voice? Oh, all right. Thanks, Colm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Now I can show my video. Thank you everybody. Thanks for coming back to our webinar. This is the spatial series. Actually, this webinar has been on for like 7 days. This is the 8th day of the webinar. However, today I think this is very special because we have Joe Dale coming back to our webinar again, and I believe there are some attendees coming from other countries than Indonesia. I saw there are some of you coming from UK and other countries probably. So welcome everybody. I'm here from Jakarta, Indonesia, and most of the attendees are teachers from Indonesia. Today we are going to have Joe Dale talking about having a play, simple interactive synchronous activities for remote teaching. But for you to know, we are going to have this session for about 90 minutes, so we will end around 5:30 Indonesia time. Okay, I think all of you know that we are going to record the session, and later on the session will be posted in our YouTube account. And I think that's all. That's my opening. I'm going to hand over this to Colm. Probably you want to say something and greet the participant, Colm. The microphone is yours.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Vanita. Welcome to our webinar in collaboration with ITEL. I'm delighted that you've all joined us this afternoon here in Jakarta and about 10 o'clock in the morning for those of you in the UK. We've been watching people register for this webinar, and we think it's tremendously exciting that there is such a large number of English language professionals together today from across Indonesia and across the UK. So we're going to be finding out a little bit more about who's with us in this session. Basically, I don't want to take up any more time. I just wanted to say on behalf of the British Council, I wanted to thank ITEL for this great initiative in supporting language teachers in Indonesia during this crisis whilst people are at home and we're having to learn new ways of delivering or continuing education and teaching our students at home. And special thank you to our UK expert, Joe Dale, for his time today and in sharing his expertise with us. So that's it from me, and I'll hand over to Joe to take over.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much for that lovely introduction there, Colm, and also to you, Vanita, for welcoming everyone to the session. It's really amazing to be here. We've had hundreds of people register, so it'll be very interesting to see how many people watch the session live. There's over 400 people who are watching it live right now, so hopefully we'll have hundreds more joining us. That would be absolutely amazing. What I would suggest that we do during the session is that you use the chat as a way of writing down reflections, asking questions. There's also the Q&A option as well that you've all got. I can see someone's asked a question already, but in the chat at the bottom of the page, you'll see it says all panelists and attendees. Now, I can see from the chat that some of you have got that selected to all panelists, which is turned on by default. So if you want to send a message to everybody, not just the panelists, which is obviously myself, Anita, Colm, Jati and Maria, then could you click on the drop-down menu and select all panelists and attendees? And then that means that your message will go to everyone in the group. That'd be really handy. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay, which is great. I presume that you all can. Yep. So the idea of this session essentially is I'm going to be showing you different ways of including interactive elements, activities, games and what have you within your live lessons. So the idea is these are activities that you would be doing live. There are some of the activities you could do asynchronously as well, in other words, as homework or as assignments. But essentially, we're going to have hopefully lots of fun, having a bit of a play, which is why I put the word play in the title, with different interactive activities. Now, I very much appreciate there might be some people who are watching right now who know a lot of these activities already. If you do know them already, could you maybe share some of your experiences of using them in the chat to help other colleagues? If they're new to you, then there'll be a lot to learn, but at the same time, as you know, the session is being recorded and it will be made available for you to watch later. So you can then watch as many times as you need to. For some of the tools, I will literally go through step by step on how to create them. For other ones, I will just show you how they work, as it were. But I would really encourage you to have a look on YouTube for any of the tools I'll be mentioning, and just do a search for the name of that tool, and there will be an up-to-date tutorial on how to do this. But I'm more than happy for you to contact me as well after today. You can see that my contact details are on that slide. So you can see that my Twitter handle is @Jodel. It's been lovely that I've had quite a few Indonesian English language teachers follow me in the last couple of weeks. My email address is there as well, jodel@talk21.com. So for those people that haven't seen me before, if I give you a little bit of background before I start. So I was a French teacher for 13 years, teaching at secondary school level for 3 years at the start of my career. And then I taught at a middle school on the Isle of Wight, which is where I am. And it's in a lovely, lovely sunny day here at 7 minutes past 10 in the morning. I taught there for 10 years in a middle school, 9 to 13-year-olds. And for the last 10 years, I've been an independent languages consultant. And normally I go around the world running training, but at the moment I'm doing everything remotely, which is the way that it is. Okay. So I hope you find it useful. I would really encourage you to leave comments in the chat. And if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A section as well. If you want to ask a question in the chat, could you put a Q, the letter Q at the beginning, to make it clear it's a question? That's just helpful for our panelists to pick up which questions have been asked. And we'll have some time at the end for you to be able to for me to be able to answer as many questions as possible. I can see that a few of you are saying that you can't see me. I'm not sure what that is, or that you can't hear me. If you can't hear me, make sure that your volume is turned up. And okay, so someone has advised you can exit full screen to see Joe. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to make a start. And I very much hope that you enjoy this. I'm just going to minimize there we are, my thumbnail, and away we go. So I'm going to minimize the chat as well. If a chat message comes up, then I'll see that that a message has come up, but I won't be stopping every 2 seconds to check the chat. But if there's a burning question, I'm more than happy to answer it as need be. So let's make a start. Okay. Lovely. So the first thing we're going to do, as we have so many people in the room, we're going to do a quick Mentimeter. So I'm going to go here and we're going to find out where you are all from. So I'm going to click present. And as you can see on the screen, it says go to menti.com and use the code 36456. So can you please, on your device, can you go to menti.com and put in that code? And then what will happen in a moment is it will generate a word cloud. When we did this in the last webinar, I asked you, how are you feeling about remote teaching? And we had hundreds and hundreds of messages appearing. It was absolutely incredible. Can you put, obviously you can write Indonesia, that's fine, but could you also write, for example, your province, or if you're from the UK, if you write, you know, your town or your county, so you have a bit more information. You can see that the reason that Indonesia is the largest for everybody at the moment, it's because of the fact that that is being put in more than other terms. And so with Mentimeter, if you haven't seen it before, the way that it works is the more high frequency the word that is being put in, or the terms that are being put in, will appear largest on the screen and always in the middle. So at the moment, I can see that over 150 people have put in their answers. So I'm just going to wait a moment for you to add in your answers. So we can see we have lots of people, mostly from Indonesia, but we've also have some other people. We have people from Germany, from Ireland, from West Java, from a place I've never heard of before, from Hillingdon, from planet Earth. That's good to know. From where else? It's moving too quickly. Right, from West London, from south of Jakarta, Indonesia, That's amazing. Yeah, mostly from Indonesia, but this is lovely. Apparently, over 200 people registered from the UK yesterday when I posted all over Facebook about this, which is great. Sydney, Australia, Cheltenham. This is amazing, fantastic. I'm just going to check the chat while that's appearing, but please keep going with all your messages. That's amazing, fantastic. Pakistan, excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, we'll just wait a few more seconds, guys. I just think it's really interesting to see where you're all from. So how do I get to, all right, so you go to menti.com by opening up a new tab in your browser, Sue, and then just writing down menti.com and then putting in the code. So there's two sites that you use in relation to Mentimeter. Mentimeter to create your presentation, you go to mentimeter.com and you sign up and you create your presentation there. I'm not going to be showing you how to do that because that would take too much time. But if you go onto YouTube and do a search for Mentimeter, you'll find out exactly how to do it. But from a delegate point of view or a student point of view, all you have to do is go to menti.com, as it says on the screen, and put in the code. And Mentimeter is a really, really useful tool to use in a live session because it gives you the opportunity of asking questions to check understanding, check comprehension, make sure everyone is up at the same point with you. Which is really, really handy, particularly if you have an audio-only session, you don't have the students with their webcams on, you can check understanding by being able to use this sort of tool, which is just great. So I can see we've got a question. Okay, so the question is, what is your first step to become a remote teacher while almost the students do not understand all the vocabularies that the teacher has instructed? Yeah, that's tricky. So what I would suggest is that you use visuals to underpin what you're saying, and you obviously know your students, don't you? You know what they can do, what they can't do, based on prior attainment and the testing that you've done with them. So all I would say is, if you're going to do a live session, just think carefully when you're planning the content you're going to be doing, and constantly ask questions around comprehension. Has everyone understood what we're doing? And just keep it simple. That's what I would say. You just have to do your best. You know, no one's expecting people to become expert remote teachers in no time at all. You just have to try your best and go from there. Now, look at the amazing word cloud. Look at that. Look at it. Isn't that just an absolutely wonderful thing? So there's now 430 answers so far. If I give it another couple of seconds, then we'll move on to the next question. But this is a thing of beauty. It's absolutely lovely. And again, Indonesia is the largest, followed by Malang, Jakarta, West Java. That's great. That's really great. We've got a few people from the UK as well, which is nice to see, as well as further afield. Saudi Arabia as well, we've got. That's lovely. Okay. Okay, so I can see that Andre has asked the question, what are the other benefits of using Menti.com? This is new for me. Well, whenever I've shown Mentimeter in different sessions, I found that it always gets a good response. What I love about it is the way that you can interact dynamically, as I'm doing right now with a word cloud. You've got different exercise types. You've got word cloud, you've got multiple choice, you've got open-ended answers. It's just absolutely fantastic. So if you're looking for anonymous polling, I think it's really good. It's also good for retrieval practice. So at the start of a lesson, you could, for example, say, right, post everything about what we did last lesson or last week or last month. So if you're it could be something like, if you'll be doing the topic of sport and leisure, post all the verbs and all the activities you can think around the area of sport and leisure. You can then take a screenshot of that, or you can export the answers as an image for evidence later, or for bringing up in a presentation the next lesson to remind students of what you've been doing with them. So, and you could use it likewise at the end of a lesson as a plenary to show that people understood. There's a really nice one which is called Speech Bubbles, which gives you little tiles, and you could use that, well, in a classroom situation, as exit tickets. In other words, the student has to then reply to your question, and then he or she is allowed to leave the classroom. You can maybe say, right, once you've answered the exit ticket, you can then turn off your video or leave the room. With an exit ticket, you would have to say who it is who's left the message. You'd have to, the student would have to write that in. But there we are. And for free, you can have up to 3 slides for free as well. When you come to adding this third slide, when you're creating your presentation, which we're not going to do today, you have to put an email address of a friend. But I know through experience, if you just put in, for example, mickey@mickeymouse.com, in other words, you make it up, then it will still work. So for free, you can have unlimited presentations, and you can have up to 3 slides per presentation, which I think is very generous. So I'm just waiting for my mouse to come back into. That's what's happening. There we are. Right. Okay. So I can see there's been a few other questions, but I'm going to carry on now if that's okay. So thank you ever so much, all 486 of you who've posted responses. So that's given us a good idea of where everyone is. So let's go to the next question. So this one is a similar one, but we just want to work out how many people are from Indonesia, how many people from the UK, and how many people are from other places, for example, Saudi Arabia or Australia or what have you. So it will give us a nice indication. I love the way that it's changing real time. On your screen, don't forget you need to move on to the next section. Russia, excellent. Feel free to write in the chat as well to tell us where the other is, where you're from. Uruguay, wow. Awesome. I'm just going to scroll through to see if there's any other questions I can answer while you're waiting. So yeah, that's lovely.
Joe, somebody asked about whether Menti can be used in synchronous or asynchronously. Maybe you can explain.
I absolutely. To me, it's got to be used synchronously. I've never tried to use it asynchronously, but I always do it in live presentations. So you could have a play with it to try and use it asynchronously, but I think I'm right in saying it has to be used used synchronously, which is why I think in a live webinar situation, it works particularly well for asking questions and comprehension and things I've talked about already. But I may be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Right, I think those are all the questions I can see so far. So we've got a few more potential answers coming through. Let's.
You have another question. Q&A.
Yep.
If
No problem.
If you use smartphones, is it possible to do interactive activity like Menti here?
Absolutely, yeah. So the great thing about Mentimeter is it works on all devices. All you need is an internet connection. There is actually an Android and iOS app, which you don't have to use, but you can download onto a phone. It also works on an iPad as well if you use the iPhone Mentimeter app. But that's really just for the students or the attendees to participate in the Mentimeter presentation. You don't have to use the app. You can just use the web page as a student, but it just makes it a bit possibly easier because the students know that all they have to do is launch the Mentimeter app, get the code, and away you go. Okay, so can you show us where we can see the participants' address on the Menti? I don't know what you mean by the word address in this context. I'm not asking people to give their personal address on the screen. I'm just asking them to say what country they're from. But yeah, okay. I think we'll carry on if that's okay. So that's given us a good indication that most people are from Indonesia, which is what we expected. And there's actually more people from other countries than the UK. But you're all very, very welcome. So this is absolutely fabulous. Yeah, if you want to share well, you have to get people to register, but we're here for an hour and a half. So if they want to join, that's fine. But please don't share the Zoom link anywhere publicly, but just ask them to register. That's absolutely fine. Okay, right. We're going to carry on then, if that's okay. So that's Mentimeter. Hopefully I've answered all the questions. For any sort of like how-to guides for tutorials, I would recommend. In fact, having said that, I will just quickly show you how we can export the results. I'm just going to click on Home here, and you can see here's my the back end, as it were. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, once my mouse controls itself, I'm going to move the chat out of the way. Hang on. There we are. Right. So you can see it says export results. So I click on export results like this. You'll see that there's a PDF now, which will load in a second. And there we are. I can now click on that, or I can click on individual pictures. So I wanted, for example, a high resolution picture of that first fabulous word cloud. I've just clicked on that now. So what should happen in a moment is, there we are. Can you see? So that's the word cloud, a picture of what all the answers that you gave in, which is absolutely fabulous. So in other words, if you want evidence of the work that the students have been doing, then that's a really nice way of doing that. You could also use that for a future presentation, which is absolutely fantastic. So there are lots of ideas around asynchronous communication that we could talk about, but the idea of this presentation is looking at synchronous ideas. Otherwise, I would, in the presentation I did in the last time, there were lots of asynchronous ideas, for example, screencasting, what have you. But the idea of this presentation is to look at synchronous ideas. I hope that's okay. Right, lovely. Right, so let's go back to my presentation. So thank you ever so much for everybody who has filled some information. Yeah, so a Google form is sort of similar to this. I can just see from the questions coming up, but with a Google form, unless you show students the Google sheet that it generates, they're not all going to see all the answers. A Google form is more for sort of individual response, whereas Mentimeter, the beauty of it is everyone sees what everyone else has written. So there we are. Yeah, so you can have up to 3 slides for free, but you have to put in an email address, and all you have to do is just make up the email address or put in a real email address, and it will work. So I've done this many times using mickey@mickeymouse.com, and it's absolutely fine. Yeah, you can use Mentimeter for open-ended questions, absolutely. So, for example, the speech bubbles one, which is the open-end. There is literally an exercise type called open-ended. You just choose that one, and you choose the speech bubbles one, and then they all appear like little tweets or little messages, which is lovely. Okay, we're going to carry on then, if that's all right, to the next tool. But hopefully that's given you a good idea on how Mentimeter works. If there is time at the end after Q&A, I'm more than happy to go through and how to create a presentation, but I want to just give you a good overview of all the things, because there will be some people who know Mentimeter very well. So we're going to carry on now, if that's okay. Thanks ever so much. Right, so, right. Now I'm hoping Wakelet is new to a lot of you. I think Wakelet is a really, really nice tool to create what is referred to as a collection or a wake. And so when you're coming across all these interesting links, I shared a huge, great document last time, which is available here. I will give it to you right now again, is.gd/tilt Thursday, or Thurs, like that. There we are. That's a 32 page, I think it is now, document of lots of links around remote teaching, particularly aimed at language teachers. So that's perfect for the audience that we have today. But then what do you do when you come across interesting links? Where do you store them? Now, I would really recommend using Wakelet. There are other tools such as Flipboard or Pinterest, which have similar services, but Wakelet is very, very nice, and it's very simple to use. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly, let's just get rid of that. I'm going to click on this link here, and that's taking me to Wakelet. Okay. Yeah, Padlet also, yeah, there's lots of tools out there which have a similar functionality. Padlet is really good for publishing multimedia onto an online notice board, and I love the way in which you can use it for recording audio, so it's really nice for speaking as well. I'm just going to log into Wakelet right now. I don't think it's going to show my password, which is good. It must be 8 characters. Let's go. There we are. Always remember your password, particularly when you're in a live session with hundreds of people watching live. Right. Okay. So as you can see, yeah, that's true, Roxana. Padlet now, you used to be able to have unlimited Padlets, but now you can have 3 Padlets for new account holders. But if you have existing Padlets, then you don't lose those. You just can only have 3 new ones. Is Wakelet similar to Google Drive? You can't upload files like audio files or video files, what have you, but you can add links. I'll show you in a moment. Let's just go for it. Right. So I'm going to click, as you can see here, it says create a new collection. Okay. So I click here. Let's come up with a title. So enter a title for your collection. So British, make sure I spelled British correctly. British Council Online Workshop. Right. At the top, it says add cover image. Yes, it's completely free. Completely free. Right. Add cover image. I could upload an image, but I'm going to click choose from library. It is a little bit like a blog. I'm going to show you in a minute how you can actually make a collaborative Wakelet. Let's go for a picture. I don't know which one. Should we go for this one? That one. Okay, right. That's my cover image. Right. So underneath, you can see you've got that green circle with a white cross in it. So I need to add something to that that link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, and in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my presentation, and I'm going to just come out of my presentation quickly and go down to the last slide, which is here, or the penultimate slide, should I say, and I'm going to click there and click copy, and then go back to Wakelet. And here, can you see it says paste URL? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that URL into my Wakelet, and there it is. Now that's the short form of the URL, which is okay, but actually I think what would be better would be if I were to put that in the chat, sorry, in my browser even, and then I click on that, and that's now the actual link, which is going to look better on the screen, I think. So let me go back to here, and now I'm going to edit that. I'm just going to delete it and start again. I'm going to delete that. There we are. And I'm going to do that again. So now I'm going to paste in the URL like that. And as you can see, there we are. That's what I wanted. That's much nicer, isn't it? So as you can see, we've now got that link is now there, which is perfect. So in other words, any link you come across, you can just post it in the chat, sorry, in the Wakelet, and it will appear. I can see a few questions are coming up. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, so Padlet is similar to Padlet and Wakelet there are similarities, but Wakelet is completely free. But you can't, for example, record audio in Wakelet. You can record video using Flipgrid. You saw when I clicked here, one of the options is Flipgrid video. That's only available in the browser-based version. You can't do that on the app. But you can also upload things from Google Drive. I've never tried uploading an audio file, which I've got in Google Drive. But you can add an image, you can add a YouTube clip, you can add a tweet. But for just making collections of links, it's absolutely fantastic. Let's just see if there's any other burning questions. Let's have a look. Jamboard is different in the sense that you're drawing collaboratively, so it's not really the same. I would just do a search for Wakelet versus Padlet. There'll be lots of, I'm sure, blog posts all about the difference. But I'm a big fan of this, particularly in the current situation where people are sharing links all the time about remote teaching, most of which I put in my my Google Docs. So that's essentially it. But now to make it even more powerful, I'm going to click done. And you can see that top left, it says contributors. I can see a couple of people haven't understood exactly what I've, let's have a look. There was a comment there. Let me just find it. No, someone just posted that they don't understand, so I can't see where that is right now. So I do apologize, but essentially, Wakelet, what it is, it's a free tool which allows you to collect links all together in the same place. You can make multiple collections which are themed according to the things that you're interested in. It's not like Google Classroom. It's okay. Let's just carry on. Otherwise, I'm just going to be, yeah, it's different. Check it out. And what I'm showing it to you right now. Have a look at it, and then you can work out yourselves how similar it is. So some of the functionalities will be similar to some of the tools you're mentioning, but it's different as well. Okay. So here, this is the exciting bit. Can you see here? It says contributors. If I click on contributors, can you see that there's a code there? Now, if I click copy code, and I put this code into the chat right now, what I would like you to do, please, is I would like you to go to Wakelet.com. I'm just going to log out here right now and show you how it works, which is here, and let's log out. Right, I'm just going to log out of Wakelet. Now, in Wakelet.com, if you go to here, can you see it says enter code? Yeah, enter code. So if you click enter code, and you paste in the code like that. So you can all do this now, or as many as you would like to. You enter in the code, you click join, and then you put your name. So I'm just going to write Joe, and you click add. And now you'll see that you have access to this. So if you click edit collection, like that, you can all now add a link. So what I'd like you to do, please, is I'd like you to add a link that anything that you found which has been useful around remote teaching. Okay, so please don't just put random things there. I've put the code already in the chat. I'll just give you the code again, which is there. So it's 7F936AB. If you could all have a go at posting something into the Wakelet, we can just see how powerful it can be in adding, building up a collection in no time at all. So what I'm suggesting is you could, for example, if you were using, let's say, Zoom, you could create a breakout room for different groups within your session. So say 4 students per breakout room, if you're teaching, say, a class of 30, and then you could give them the code, an individual code for each Wakelet that you create. So you could, for example, create 4, 5, 6 Wakelets, give them the code, make one person like the spokesperson to manage it all, and then get them to then, based on some collaborative work that you're doing with them, get them all to add content into the Wakelet. So I'll just refresh the page, see if anyone's added anything. But it'd be lovely to see. There we are. Thank you. So as we can see here, someone's added something about Edpuzzle, Quizlet, Goose Chase. Yeah, that's a cool one. I don't know how that would work. A virtual Goose Chase, maybe? You could do that, I suppose. Actually, I think, in fact, if you do a search for virtual Goose Chase or scavenger hunt, you'll find examples of that. Flipgrid, look how quickly people are adding content. This is great. So I'm just going to leave that for a minute or two, and I'll see if I can answer any more questions that have come up. So we had the question, is this like Google Classroom? Well, there's elements, I suppose, that are like Google Classroom, but why not make a Wakelet and then add it into Google Classroom and then ask people to add to it? You know, give the students a code in Google Classroom and then give them the assignment of what you want them to do, and then get them to talk to each other via a breakout room in Zoom, for example. Let's carry on. See if there's any other questions. Okay, so Rindu, for the code, you just go to wakelet.com. Top right, it says enter code. You click on that link. You do not have to have an account to do that. You paste in the code, and then away you go. So this is, and you saw that I made my Wakelet private, so nobody will have access to this apart from those people that have got the code. I suppose if someone were to post something inappropriate, you'd have to just, I'm not sure if you can change the code if they do that. I'd have to find that out. Or you'd have to, I suppose, just make a copy. You can make a copy of the collection and then just start again. That's probably what you'd have to do, actually. But I think this is very cool. Okay, let's see. Let's refresh the page to see how many other people have added to our Wake. Okay. Some stuff around primary science. Play Posit, which is similar to Edpuzzle. Those people haven't seen that before. Used to be called Educanon. Formative, yeah, Formative is really nice. The feature I particularly like is making a PDF into an interactive resource. And for free, you used to be able to have 20 of those PDFs, interactive PDFs a month. But my understanding is they've lifted that that limit to more. It might even be unlimited during lockdown, or certainly for the next month or so. There's links to that in my Google Doc. Look at this. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So again, feel free to write in the chat any ways you could see how you could use this in your own classroom or virtual classroom. But I was suggesting that if you have, say, breakout rooms, which can be done in Zoom as well in other tools, there's some suggestions on how to do that in Microsoft Teams and how to do that in Google Meet in that long document that I've shared with you. You could give one Wakelet code to each small group, and then you can all add to the collection. If you want to carry on doing this, adding to this collection as well, I'm more than happy to just leave this Wakelet open because it could be very useful, I think, and keep refreshing the page. It's the same, it doesn't change dynamically, but keep, refreshing the page and see how it changes. Yeah, poll everywhere, another good one. Game Kit. I've not heard of that one before. I'll have to check that out. Scribble, EdLink, lots of fantastic information that people are sharing here. Seneca, I know a lot of people are talking about Seneca. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, you don't need to log out first, I don't think, but there we are. It should work without needing to do that, I think. Right, let's just see. Yeah, okay, I think we're going to carry on, if that's okay, unless there's any other burning questions. I'll just wait for a moment if there's anything else that you want to know about Wakelet. Could you please post the link for the... Yeah, I'm going to do that in a minute, Elizabeth. I'm just going to show how to do that. So unless there's any more questions, I'll do that right now, if that's okay. So if I click done, like that, and I log back in, because I think, well, yeah, can you see the share option is grayed out? That's probably because I'm not logged in. But if I log in now, again, remembering that there are 8 characters in my password, not 7. Like that, log in. There we are. Has that worked? That's interesting. Log in. What's it doing? Typical, isn't it? Right, let me just try again. It's not letting me log in. Why not? Maybe there were too many people trying to access it at the same time. Brilliant. I'll try one more time. I know, I'll go to a new page. Let's see if that makes a difference. I'm sure it won't, but you never know. That's the great thing about doing things live. You never know. Oh, there we are. I'm in now. Okay. Right, let's go here then. 51 items. So we've done what? 51 items in about 5 minutes. Right. So it's saying, yeah, right. This is important. Right. So you can see here it says share. Now that's because it's private. So you can set it up as a private collection, which is absolutely what I would recommend in a school situation. But if I want to share it, if I click edit collection, can you see here, top right, it says private. If I want to share it with everyone now, I can make it unlisted or public. So I can make it unlisted. Then if I click done, now it says share. Can you see? So if I click share, you can see I can share it directly to Google Classroom, which is really nice for creating an assignment automatically. I can share it straight to Microsoft Teams. I can tweet about it, or I can just share the link right now. So if I just share the link right now, like that, you will be able to click on that. And again, you do not need to have an account. So just be very clear. If you want to use this with students, I would recommend keeping it private and telling them that they don't give the code to anybody else. If you want to share it either privately or publicly, you need to make it unlisted or public. If it's public, presumably it could be found in a Google search, not if it was unlisted. So if you wanted to post well, I think in a Google Classroom situation or similar, Microsoft Teams, I would simply say, this is the code for the Wakelet. Use it now to log it, to add the code so you can access the Wakelet. I wouldn't give them the link unless you wanted to share that with teacher friends based on resources that you found. Hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions before we move on to the next tool? But thanks ever so much for that. Those contributions. That was really cool. Okay. No one else wants to say, is this like this? Is it like that? Right. So Eric's asked, how long can we access? Do you mean the Wakelet? I presume it's as long as it has that the unlisted rights. So if I change that, I mean, I'm more than happy to leave this permanently in my account. It's fine. I mean, obviously this is just a demo, but I suppose if people want to carry on adding content to it, I'm more than happy to leave it there. Yeah, that's fine. So it's as long as the person who creates it makes it available for. The difference between the code and the link. So the link is when it's either public or unlisted, so people can see it, but they can't contribute to it unless they have the code. Hopefully that makes sense. Can we set time or schedule event for Wakelet? I have no idea, but that's a good Twitter question to ask. So as I've said, it won't appear in a Google search engine if you make it unlisted, but it probably would if you make it public, similar to a YouTube clip as well. works in the similar ways. Yes, you use it to collect resources, exactly. Yeah, we're going to carry on if that's okay. But thank you ever so much for all these questions. Just familiarize yourself with it, and you'll be absolutely fine. Right, let's go back. Well, that went really well. I was really pleased with that. That's good. Right, the next activity is Whiteboard.fi. This is a really, really cool activity that you can do in no time at all. It doesn't require any registration on behalf of either the teacher or the students, which is really cool. And the whiteboards that you create are all deleted automatically within 2 hours of you setting them up. And you can close the session at any time, at any point as well, while you're taking part in the session. So before I show you how this works, I want to just quickly bring up a link, which, hang on, I thought I had a link there. Let me just check. Oh, I have got a link. It was out. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly copy this link into a new tab. As you can see, I've got 1 or 2 tabs open, but I've got 16 gigs of RAM, so it's all good. Right. So just to make it a bit more focused on English language teaching, these are some resources I'm sure you've seen before, the Teaching English website that the British Council leads and organises. And there's a primary lesson plan here all about My Sea Creature. So you can see, if you scroll down, some of these materials are designed to be used face-to-face, and some of these materials are designed to be used online. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through an example of how you could use some of this content around sea creatures in an online situation. You don't need to see this link right now. Well, I could, if you really want me to, I can share the link with you in the chat. It's not a problem. Let me just share it with you right now, so you can have a look at it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on the one that says online lesson class materials. Okay. So I'm clicking on that, and you'll see that they've used the same template that I've been using in my session right now. So this is a PDF. If I scroll down, you can see, My Sea Creature, have you got your pictures? Show them to the camera. Clearly there's instructions we've not been through yet, but you get the idea, right? Listen to your teacher, put your hand up if you know what animal it is. Now, you can see here, classic sort of early language learning technique that we're hiding some of the objects which are on the screen. These are all sea creatures. Who can guess what they are? So I could be doing this live. So you could say, for example, someone could put their hand up, raise their hand on the Zoom screen, and I could say, right, Bob, can you please tell me what the middle picture is? Or they could say, oh, I think the top right is a jellyfish, or whatever it might be. Or you could do that within the chat as well if you don't want them to appear on their webcam. So if we go further down, this is the reveal bit. After the hide bit, we've now got the real reveal bit. And as you can see, these are all sort of classic sea creatures. So with that in mind, we're now going to go back to my presentation, which I'm now going to present again. And I'm going to show you how we can use Whiteboard.fi in the context of this British Council resource. So if I click here, right, you can see this is what the web page looks like, Whiteboard.fi. I love how simple this is. This is incredible. So I'm going to click on New Class, okay? I'm going to put in my name like this, okay? And I'm going to click Create New Class like that. And here, we've now got a link, right? So if I copy that and I put it in a chat for you, like that, and I'm going to do this live as well on my iPad. So I'm going to go to the same link. So all you need is the code whiteboard.fi / and then the code is Y4Y. Okay. And to make it nice and simple for everybody, what I want you to do, please, is I want you to draw a picture of a ferocious shark, okay? So don't choose any other sea creatures, just a ferocious shark. We'll all compare our very scary, ferocious sharks with each other, okay? Make sure you put the right code in, Aliyah. It's whiteboard.fi / Y for Y. So let me put that in the so it's Y for Y. There we are. Or you can put in the whole link, which is here. So all you need to do is click join class, and then you'll be able to start drawing. Now, the way it normally works, wow, is that supposed to be a ferocious, ferocious shark? It's a heart. It's a heart, Ariana. It is a bit like Jamboard, but with Jamboard, just to be very clear, the way this works is you are seeing your picture on your own screen with this one. But then if I'm sharing my screen as the teacher, you can then see everyone's picture all in one place. Whereas with Jamboard, you can see everyone's drawings on your tablet or your computer. The nice thing also about Jamboard is you can have multiple slides. So you could, for example, add groups of, say, 4 students to one slide and then get them to then collaborate together and draw together. Because if you have 30 students all trying to draw on the same slide, it'll become very chaotic, I think. Yeah, so Stefan, you'll be I'll be sharing the presentation link with you at the end of the presentation. I've already shared it with you already, actually, the short URL, but you'll get everything at the end. So I would love you to draw me some pictures now, everybody. At the moment, we've got some sharks appearing. Oh, that's a very ferocious shark, Jerome. Well done. That's quite a cute little goldfish, isn't it, Jessa? No, it's sort of, obviously it looks a very very ferocious shark. So I'll just give you a bit more time. Clearly, if we have hundreds of people all trying to draw together, it might slow it down a little bit. But there we are. So the class code again is Y for Y. There we are. And to submit it, you just you draw your picture. Let me do a shark myself. Hang on, and then I'll go through exactly what you need to do. So there we are. My shark's not very good, actually. Never mind. Oh, that's a terrible shark, actually. Never mind. Let me start again. Where's the eraser tool? There we are. Oh, there we are. Let me start again. That was a terrible shark. So what I'm doing is I'm actually drawing on my iPad as well while I'm in the live session. So let's go for that one, and it's there we are. Awful sharp, but never mind. Right. So then from there you tap. Right, actually that'll appear on the screen, won't it? I think mine will appear on the screen, or it will somewhere. Okay, so you logged into the whiteboard. You then have the whiteboard canvas in front of you, and you simply draw the picture, and then it will then start to appear on the big screen. Because there are hundreds of people trying to do this at the same time, that's why it's taking a long time for that to happen. You can also write text as well, but obviously the idea of this is to draw a picture. Yeah, so you can see, and again, you'll be able to see some pictures. As you can see, as I scroll down, some pictures are starting to create. When I've done this with a smaller group, it works absolutely fine. It's just the fact that there were lots and lots of people all trying to draw at the same time. Okay, so if your pen is white, you need to then tap. Well, it shouldn't be, by default, it should be black, I think. But if you tap where it says stroke, you tap on that option, you can choose whatever color you would like. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so with a smaller group, this will work seamlessly. It's just the fact that we have a lot of people all taking part at the same time. Right, you haven't got tools to draw on my whiteboard. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you should have a toolbar with all the different drawing tools. You don't need to submit it, Liliana. It should just appear automatically. So there's not a button to submit. It should just appear automatically. What I suggest you do is you have a play with this at home with a couple of devices and see how easy it is for it to work. It's just the fact that, I mean, it's great that we've got hundreds of people taking part, but just, yeah, you don't need to submit it. It does it automatically. Yeah. So the idea of this, to me, for a language teacher, is you're then going to be interactive, a bit like with Mentimeter, but with drawings. You're then going to be reacting and saying, oh, that's an interesting picture, Bob. Tell me a bit more about your ferocious shark. Yeah, so the idea is for you to draw a ferocious shark. Yeah, that's what I've asked you to do. Right. You don't need to submit it. It does it automatically. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I can see a few questions have come up in the Q&A. Let's have a quick look. So, right. Is Wakelet similar to Digo? Yes, it is a bit similar, but Digo, I don't even know if Digo still exists, but Wakelet is very nice and gives you lots of possibilities. Right. Wakelet for teaching purposes. Okay, so using Wakelet for teaching purposes, great for promoting independent study. So for example, you could collect a whole set of links around a certain topic for say advanced learners, and then give them that one link so that you're not asking them just to go out and find resources for themselves. You're giving them links that you found for them, or you could create a collection that they contribute to as well, and then base your activities around those links. So it could be a YouTube clip whereby you turn that into a listening comprehension, whatever you want to do, essentially. Right. Okay, I think those are all the questions so far. Got 13 new messages. Okay, so I can see that some of the pictures are turning up, not some of them aren't. So I will just refresh the page, see if that makes a difference. Ah, there we are. That's better, isn't it? Wow, that's very ferocious there. Geez. Okay. There we are. That's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah. So I can start to see all your ferocious sharks. Great, great stuff, everyone. Okay. Now there isn't the option to print, or sorry, to save all the pictures all in one go. So a little trick that I would suggest is if you do a search for. In fact, let me just show you. It's called Cute PDF Writer. Cute PDF Writer. Here we are. And this is completely free. It's this one, free download there, Cute PDF Writer. I've already installed this. So it means that if I go to here and I click, I'm in Chrome at the moment. If I click on the three dots, let me just refresh the page again, just see if there's any other pictures that are going to come up. Okay. So if I click on the three dots and I click print, I'm not going to choose my Epson printer. I'm going to choose Qt PDF Writer. It also says save as PDF, which I think is the default option in Chrome. If you click Qt PDF Writer, I can now print. Let me just do that again. I can now print what's on the screen. Ah, there we are. Can you see it says print now at the bottom? I can click print, and what that will do is it will generate a PDF of all the pictures, which should in a moment appear in as a download. I'm not sure what's happened to that, but it's probably on my desktop actually. But I'm not going to show you my desktop right now because it's very untidy. But that definitely works. I've done that many times before. So that's how you make a PDF print off of your whiteboard. So there we are. So that's a way in which you can use a Whiteboard.fi to promote speaking practice around a resource on the British Council website. So hopefully, I'm sorry you can't all see all your pictures, but if we had fewer people in the room, it would be fine. Let's just have a quick scroll through. Look at these ferocious sharks. Aren't they scary? Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, so that's it. And completely for free. And if you wanted to close the room at any moment, all you'd have to do is you click on the cog. As I said, it automatically closes after 2 hours. But if you click on the cog, you can see I could hide names, I can clear all whiteboards, and I can close the room. So I don't think, let's have a look. No, I could delete. Okay, so I can click on an individual picture and I could erase that individual picture or delete that individual picture. So if someone were to post something inappropriate, I could tap on it and I could delete that for you. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let's carry on as time is ticking on. Let's go on to the next one. Right, okay, now, Jack, you just know Seesaw. And yes, it is similar to Google Classroom and Padlet and all the rest of it, but it does things which are very cool as well. I don't know if you can retrieve a deleted one, I'm not sure, but it's only supposed to be something quick and easy. It's not supposed to be something that's permanently there for Whiteboard.fi, so I'm not sure. You'd have to have a play with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you Seesaw. So Seesaw is a bit like Facebook, but it's designed to be used in education. A lot of teachers are using it at the moment in a remote teaching context. So essentially you have like a feed, like you do with Facebook. You post things to that feed. You can add classes. You can set it up so it works on one-to-one devices or on shared devices. They've published some home codes as well, so that you can give those out to the students. It's private. You can have a public blog if you want to. It's really, really nice. It's popular at primary and at secondary school level. If you just do a search for Seesaw, you'll find more information. There's Seesaw ambassadors that you can connect with on Twitter. There's a Seesaw Facebook group. And the thing that I particularly like is the new Chrome extension, which I'm going to demonstrate right now. And let's see where it is. Yeah, right. Okay. So I thought I would bring up this page here, which, as you can see, yeah, it is a bit like Edmodo. Okay, so just check it out. Have a look at it right now. But this thing that I'm going to show you right now is not like Edmodo. Right. So this is a lovely picture of the ITEL. I'm not sure if it's the committee or it's an event or what have you. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click here, which is Post to Seesaw, which is a Chrome extension, right? If I click on this right now, it says Capture Visible Area or Capture Selected Area. So I'm going to click Capture Selected Area. I'm now going to drag across the screen. Like, oh, hang on, that wasn't right. Let me go do that again. Hang on. Let's do that again. Right. So I think I think the mouse was not behaving as it should have done. Right. Let me do that one more time. So, hang on. Let me delete that. It's because my mouse keeps. Let me focus and concentrate. Right. So let's just delete that. Exit. Right. We'll go back. Right. I'm using a wireless mouse and it's not behaving. Right, here we go. Let's do it again. Right, so Post to Seesaw, Capture Selected Area. So in other words, any picture or any text that you have on the day. Okay, we'll just leave it like that. You can imagine for some reason it's slipping at the moment. Right, so if I click, could not be recovered. Okay, let's give it, okay, there we are. That's the picture. So what I've done is I've selected, it is a bit tired, the mouse, I think. I've selected a part of a web page, which could be a picture, could be some text. And here I've got the microphone option. Okay. So if I click on the microphone, I'm going to start recording right now. Here we go. Okay. So I'm recording right now, and you can see top right of the screen is the timer is going up. I'm now going to click on the, I'm going to use this one, I think, this pen tool, and I'm just going to highlight someone here, and someone here. And I could give a description of that person or those people. I could take a Google map and I could add that into Seesaw, and I could then annotate over the top of the Google map. Maybe if I'm teaching a lesson around, say, directions, saying, right, to go to the post office, go straight on, turn right, and go over the roundabout. Or if in this situation, this could be a family scene, and I could be describing my family, for example. So I'm going to press pause now. I could now click here if I wanted to, and I could click again. I could click Erase Drawing. So if I do that, what happens is it gets rid of all the annotations. I can then carry on. I could press the record button again because it's paused at the moment, and I could do some more annotations. So you get the idea. Seesaw essentially, or this particular part of Seesaw, is you can either draw with a blank background, if you wanted to create a screencast for explaining a grammar point or what have you, or this, I could take an image, which I could upload from my my device. But what I like about the Seesaw Chrome extension is the way that you can just grab something from a page and put it straight into Seesaw, and everything that you record, everything that you capture is all recorded. So in other words, your voice, the annotations, and the picture as well. So if I now click done like this, and I can listen back to it, if I click play. Okay, so I'm recording right now, and you can see top right of the screen is the timer is going up. I'm now going to click on the, I'm going to use this one, I think, this pen tool, and I'm just going to highlight someone here, and someone here. And I could give a description of that person or those people. I could take a Google map and I could add that into Seesaw, and I could then annotate over the top of the Google map. Maybe if I'm teaching a lesson around, say, directions, saying, right, to go to the post office, go straight on, turn right, and go over the roundabout. Or if in this situation, this could be a family scene, and I could be describing my family, for example. So I'm going to press there we are. Pause now. I saw that someone asked in the chat, can you download this video? Yes, you can. Now, if I click on the little tick there, because I've only got one person in my class, which is the demo class, I'm just going to add it to myself. But what you'd have normally here is you'd have a list of names. So you then either assign what you've done to the whole class or to individuals. Okay. So if I now upload that, now here it is, and you can see that underneath that video is a comment option. So if I click comment, I could write, for example, great job, Joe, or great job, and click post. Right. So that's a text comment, but also you have the possibility of clicking comment, and you've got a little microphone there. So I can leave an audio comment, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I click the button to begin recording. Well done, Joe. Fantastic job there describing those 3 people in that picture. Isn't Seesaw a fantastic tool for publishing multimedia in a private space, which is also moderated, and how to leave written or audio feedback? Right, so that's now processing. I can listen back to it. Well done, Joe. Fantastic job there describing those. And you can see that that's now appeared there. So by default, the teacher can leave comments on all the students' work, but the teacher has to enable the option if the teacher wants students to give comments to each other. Okay. At no point can a student send a private comment to another student. Everything is moderated, and the teacher can set it up so that the students only see their own work, not everyone else's work as well. Here, if you click on Get Home Learning Codes, that will also give you the option to, so the students only get to see their own work in this current situation, which is parents were asking for from Seesaw, and that's why that was done. If I now click Save, you click on the 3 dots here. If I click Save, then what will happen is it creates what's called a WBM file. But I think I'm right in saying that if you do it on the Android or the iOS version, it will make an MP4 file, which you may prefer. So you can download the video, but with a WEBM file, you might have to convert it as well. Yeah, so in relation to GDPR, if you do a search for GDPR for Seesaw, then you'll find that they have a privacy policy around that. So all these tools that I'm showing, I always recommend that you always do a search for GDPR plus the name of the tool. But certainly when I've done that in the past, there is a GDPR policy for Seesaw. So it goes without saying, I wouldn't show any of these things unless that was the case. Brilliant. So hopefully that's given you a little introduction to Seesaw. So I could, for example, if I just click the plus icon here, post student work, I could just do a drawing straight away. I could record a video. I could take a photo. I could upload something, but I particularly like that Chrome extension because of what how easy it is to use and how it can be used in that way. Right, so let's carry on. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. Right, I'm just going to show you how this works now. This is Quizizz, which is similar to Kahoot. And I'm going to click Play Live, and I'm going to click Continue. And right, so Quizizz is a bit like Kahoot. What I'd like you to do now, please, is go to joinmyquiz.com, which is what I'm going to do. No, I won't do it on my device. I'll just wait for you to do that. So go to joinmyquiz.com and put in the code 557683. So I'll put that in the chat for you. 557683. Okay, and it's joinmyquiz.com. So in this particular, there we are. In this particular exercise, I've created some audio comprehension questions for you, because you can record up to 10 seconds of audio per question. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do some listening comprehension for you right now. I think it's 4 or 5 questions I've done for you. So in a moment, I'll click start, but why not either do this live or you can set it as a homework as well. So you could do it asynchronously, those people who were asking about that earlier. So I just wait a minute or two before we got a few more people in the room. I did look this up about the maximum number of people you can have in a Quizizz quiz, and it's 500. So let's see if that's, let's see if we reach that right now. They're all popping in very quickly right now, but that's all good. On the left-hand side, I can see how many people are joining. At the moment, it's 170 or 181, 83, lots of people. So I just wait for a moment while you all join. Feel free to ask me any more questions. Yeah, I agree. Quizizz is totally cool. Yeah. Just in the chat, has anyone played around with recording audio for Quizizz yet? Be interesting to know. Okay, I'll just give you another minute or so, or a few more seconds, as time is ticking, and then we'll start. What are the other share options? So there's homework, it's homework and live. I think those are the main ones. There's also the teleport feature, which means you can take a quiz question from somewhere else and put it into your quiz. Right, we're gonna make a start if that's okay. So I'm just gonna click start. Thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, so you can have up to 500. At the moment, it's 270 or so. The limit is 500. Okay, I'll wait another 10 seconds because I'm a nice person, and then we are going to start. Okay. Are we ready? Are we ready? Oh dear. Right, let's go for it. Right, so it's 5, I think it's 5 questions, 4 or 5 questions. Right, so I click start. And it's really important, this is a really important tip, to mute the audio top right. Otherwise, you're going to have too much audio playing while you're listening. So you've got all these different questions. You have to listen to them. I hope it's going to work. You'll be able to listen to them. Some are around capitals. Some of them are specific questions around English grammar. But you get the idea, hopefully, of how you can use this in your own class, whichever language you teach. This is so cool. Look at the leaderboard go. Brilliant. So Diane, you should be able to click the play button. Is there a play button on your screen? So if you you don't see, what don't you see, Vance? Do you not see a play button? Have you? I've clicked start, so you should, the first question. Okay, well the question should have appeared on your screen. I think everyone else seems to be coping already. It says, so right, do you mean, Vance, it won't play? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay, because you have to disable Zoom audio. Okay, so okay. I presume everyone that is competing can hear the audio. I'm not sure why. Yeah, so maybe with fewer people, it would be absolutely fine. This is the first time I've ever done this with so many people. In fact, it's the first time I've ever demonstrated this live ever. So it's interesting to see how that works. You can't, so some of them, okay, you can't see the question. So if I click on questions, so these are the questions that should be coming up. Yeah, so let's listen to the first one. What is the capital of Indonesia? Okay, that's question 1. You've got 4 options. Let's click on question 2. Which of the following words are synonyms for the word beautiful? Okay. Let's go to the next one. What is the past participle of the verb to go? Okay, so here you have to write in the correct answer. So you've got a range of exercise types, which is very nice. Teachers need support when using new technologies to enhance teaching and learning. Okay, yeah, so there is number 2, I chose the multiple answers option, so there is more than one possible answer. just to make it a bit more interesting. So there's not just one right answer. So you might want to use that. What do you think about the idea of recording audio questions in quizzes for listening comprehension in a remote learning context? Cool. So yeah, that's right, Michelle. So it seems that the order that they came up on mine will be different from yours. That's why I didn't write for say question 4. I didn't write question 4 because of the fact that it put them in a different order. Yes, you are limited to 10 seconds, but you can do quite a lot in 10 seconds for sort of short and snappy questions. Okay, and they are hosting all the audio for free. Okay, I appreciate that it didn't work with everyone. But it worked with quite a few of you, and if you use it with a smaller group, it should be fine. Yeah, so I prepared all the questions in advance, absolutely. I'm not sure if you can copy across someone else's questions. You'd have to have a look if that works in the teleport feature. So I'm going to stop now, if that's all right. So if I click End Game, is it right? End game, right? So now it says, "Are you sure you want to end the game?" Yes, I do. Oh, my mouse has been very silly today. Right? Okay, hang on. There we are. So, hang on. Hang on. There we are. Right, I should be able to move that. There we are. End game. Right. I think it's because of the band. It's probably a bandwidth thing as well. Hang on. What's happening to my mouse? Just give me a second. There we are. End game. Right. There we are. Right. So now we can see that Naeem came top of the tree. Well done, Naeem. That's awesome. And then we could play again. You can also go into export the results as an Excel spreadsheet, but you get the idea. Yeah, that's fantastic. Right. So we're going to come out of this and go back to my presentation, which is, hang on. Let's come out. Exit, that would help, wouldn't it? Exit. Right, and then close that. Why has it gone full screen? Hang on, what have I done? Let's close that. Hang on, just give me a sec. I'm just going to stop sharing for a second and then just go back to Chrome. Ah, there we are. That's it. There we are. Right. Okay. Right. So share my screen again. And there we are. Right. Share. Perfect. Lovely. Thank you ever so much. That was lovely. Right. So let's carry on. Right. So creative. Oh. Yeah. Let's do this. Right. So creative. Right. So what I'd like you to do, please, is I would like you. Oh, hang on. I'd like you to go to socrative.com and sign in as a student for me, please. So socrative.com and sign in as a student. So SOCRATIVE, socrative.com, like that, and then click login. And I want you to click on the student login, not the teacher one, the student one. Okay, so socrative.com. Let me put the link in the chat for you. Like that. If it comes up. Oop. Oh, my mouse has been very silly at the moment. Hang on. Right. There we are. Right. So chat. Well, can someone put that in the chat for me, please? I'm just going to click teacher login. I'm just going to log in myself. Right. Okay. I'm going to click on quiz. And yes. And I'm going to choose one, everything beneath the sea, which is based on the same unit that I showed you a moment ago. And I'm going to make it teacher paste, and I'm going to click start. So what I'd like you to do, please, is when it says room number, you need to go to 29701 for me, please, 29701. And having done that, it should then bring up the first question, which is how many sea creatures are mentioned in the text. So when this comes up, what I want you to do for me, please, is I want you to tap on the picture and then just read the text quickly. And the reason I want you to do that is because clearly if in a remote learning context, you're going to have the issue of students using Google Translate if you give them any sort of reading comprehension. And so a way of getting around this is if you were to use the teacher paste option of a quiz. So you just launch the quiz, you choose the teacher paste option, and then all you have to do is tap on the picture, answer the question, which in this case is how many sea creatures are mentioned in the text. So I've made it multiple choice. So you just click on the one that you think is the correct answer. And I can see that 55 or so people have answered. So I'll just let you answer. Once you have all answered, or a few of you have answered, I can then click next to go on to the next page. Now, clearly, here we've got a lot of people who are doing this live. With a small group, you could say have a couple of minutes for them to answer each question, and then on the next question, I've also added the text as an image because you can add an image for each question. It will hopefully not give them enough time in order to use Google Translate because of the fact that the text is an image. It's just a suggestion for formative assessment opportunities. I suppose they could use the camera in Google Translate, the app, and which uses the functionality that used to be in what was called Word Lens, and then maybe the text would appear over the top. But they'd have to be pretty canny to do that. So there we are. So you've all answered. Well done. I'm now going to click the next option. That will now take us on to question 2. So you can see they can only see one question at a time, which is really nice. I've just used the same picture there. So in other words, they've got to read the question, they've got to read the text and then answer it. So that should mean that it should avoid or reduce the number of people who are using Google Translate to try and translate the text first, and then you don't get a true representation of their language skill if that is the case. Cool. So there are fewer people. Okay, the numbers are going up now who are answering it, which is lovely. But you get the idea. I think because we haven't got lots of time left, I'm just going to click finish now. But hopefully you've seen the point I'm trying to make here. So I click finish and say OK. I can immediately see here the results. I wouldn't show this to the students, but I could if I wanted to. Yeah, can you see? And then I can click here and I can see who has got them right and who's got them wrong, and then work it out from there. I can also click on reports. I can download an Excel spreadsheet with all the answers there. But again, you wouldn't show that to the students. You just use that for your own information. Right. Thanks ever so much. We're just going to finish off now with Charlala, which is this one. If I click present, I'd like you to go to charlala.com for me, please. Charlala.com. And I'm just going to show you this live. So let me come out of here. Charlala.com. Like that. So I'll put that in the chat, unless someone else could do that. Would be lovely. I seem to have lost the chat for some reason. Okay, could someone put that in the chat? Charlala.com. I'm going to click on Draw Room, and I'm going to click Start Draw Room. Okay, and click Conversational. And I'm going to get rid of the music, otherwise it becomes overbearing. So this is conversational mode. Can you go to charlala.com/draw, and can you put in the code? And once some people start appearing on the screen, I will click start. Lovely. Okay, so I'll just give you a moment to log in. So the students do not need to have an account to do this. They just need to go to the link and put the code in, and then we're good to go. So again, I'm just going to give you a couple of moments to do this because we don't need to have lots of people. In fact, I think I'm just going to click start, I think, because we are running out of time now. So I'll just click start. And as you can see, it says, listen to your teacher for a drawing prompt. So I would like you to draw me a picture representing how you are feeling right now around remote teaching. So if you could draw a picture on your screen, then you click submit and then submit again, and then all the pictures will start to appear. So I'm going to do this right now, charlala.com, like that, /draw. Don't forget this is being recorded as well, so you can go through the steps again. So I go to, that's right. Hang on. That's interesting. It's not giving me the option. Let's try that one more time. Right, it seems not to be working for some reason. I don't know why that is. Ah, here it is. Right, room code. Right, so it comes up with room code. I put the room code in. It might again be because there are lots of people accessing right now. 3FYMB. Ah, it says this draw room is locked. Well, I created the drawer. Why is it? Okay. Oh, enter name, right? Okay. Then join room, right? Start draw. Then you tap start drawing, and then I'm going to draw a heart like this. Tap submit, and then submit again. And what should happen in a moment, if it works, is that picture should appear on the screen. So the idea of this, Charlala, is absolutely brilliant. Similar to Whiteboard.fi, but there's a few more things you can do with it. You can get the students to draw a picture based on what you've asked them to draw. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be working properly at the moment. Let me just refresh the page. And then that picture should then appear on the screen, which it's not doing. Maybe there's a bandwidth issue at the moment, which is why everything's sort of slowing down a bit. I'm not sure. I can see my masterpiece on my screen, on my iPad screen, but it's not appearing on the screen here. And I don't know why that is. Let's refresh the page. What should happen is we should be seeing some pictures appearing. Ah, there we are. Whew. Oh, that's good. Cool. So thank you ever so much. That's lovely. So for example, if I click on the little yellow circle there, which is the masterpiece option, it then adds it. So Nuri has been added to the masterpiece board. I can put in, if my mouse is going to come back, come on mouse, there we are. I'm going to put Vance's in. I can see that Vance is not, Chandra even. Chandra is not feeling very happy about online teaching. You get the idea. So I can download any of these images by clicking on the download option. Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. And I can also delete any of them, and I can add them to my masterpiece board. So if I now click end drawing and click end room and click PDF here, I can download all of these as a PDF. Can you see? Download storyboard. So if I click download storyboard, it will then allow me to download the ones which I've particularly highlighted. So again, for evidence, that's fine. Then you can use that for a future activity. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's great. So, and if you want to create your own account, just go to charlala.com/draw. I'm just going to, for some reason, when I click chat, it's not actually, let me just stop sharing for a second. Ah, here we are. So it's charlala.com/Joe. If you want to use that link, you can use that as a way of creating your own account on Charlala. Right, so let's go back, share screen, present, there we are, right. So Just to finish off with, I wanted to highlight some webinars that we're doing in the UK that the Association for Language Learning is organising, and I've been helping and hosting some of these as well. You can get the links at the bottom there. You can sign up to any of them. They normally take place between 8 and 9 o'clock in the evening in the UK. But if you click on the YouTube link underneath, you can watch all the past recordings as well. So that's something which is free professional development for you. And this is the link to this presentation. So I'll just give you a moment to note that. And I'm more than happy for the next few minutes and longer if need be to take any questions so far. Apologies for the mouse issues that I had, but I think it's been pretty smooth. It's not been too bad at all. And I'm just going to press exit on here. You still will be able to see there we are. You can still see the link, and then I'll be able to access the chat hopefully a bit more easily, or maybe not. Chat seems to be anyway. Right, so I'll just give you a moment to note that down, and I can, in fact, let me put I know what I'll do is, let me just put that in the chat for you. If I stop sharing right now, that's going to be easier, isn't it? And then I can just put it straight into the chat. There you go. So that's the link to the presentation. And I know, according to the clock officially, we've got 3 minutes, but I'm more than happy to stay on for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever is required, because we covered a lot of content, but I'm hoping that all the content that we've covered, you have got a good idea on how you can try some of this in your classroom. And if you need to watch the recording, then you feel free to watch it back, and feel free to contact me via email or Twitter for anything that you're not sure about. And if you would like me to do a webinar for you in your own country with similar content, let me know, and I would love to hear from you. So over to Vanita for any questions that people want to ask right now.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe. It was a very inspiring presentation. There are so many tools that you introduced to us, and I saw in the notes in the chat that there are still some of us saying that we need longer time with you, Joe.
Well, you have to invite me back. You have to invite me back, yeah.
Yeah, so be prepared for that. Okay, actually we ran out of time, but I think I still want to open Q&A session, but I'm going to share the feedback form first, so that
Perfect.
those who want to leave those who want to leave the webinar can fill out the feedback form, and meanwhile you can also answer some questions. Let me share the feedback first. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my slides. So please kindly drop your feedback in this link. And then if you want to check for the recorded version or the materials from Joe presentations, we are going to post it in our website. Just visit our website. Okay, then I'll get back to the questions. Some of the participants asked about Whiteboard.fi. They were asking about whether or not they can show the control which students can input, can show the input on the screen. Is it possible to control and show the...
Sorry, so can you ask the question again, please? So I wasn't quite clear.
Yeah. Is there any control to show which students' input we want to show? So probably controlling...
So what you do is you click on the individual whiteboard, and then it will then go full screen, or it'll go large. If that's so, the teacher can do that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I think enlarging certain students' answers.
Yeah. So if the teacher clicks on the picture they want to highlight, it will go larger. They'll be able to see it full screen on the screen. Yeah. Do you remember I was showing how you could erase a picture? I clicked on the picture and it went full screen, and it gave me the option to erase it or delete it. So it would work in the same way. If you wanted to highlight a particular picture, you would click on it and it would go full screen on the screen. Yeah.
All right. And since you demonstrated using this video conference, is it possible for teachers to use it individually without using Zoom or other video conference?
So do you mean can teachers use Zoom independently? Is that what you mean? Or?
No, Whiteboard.fi without using Zoom.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So as long as you have some way of giving the students a link, you could do it, you could give them the link in Google Classroom. You don't have to show them the screen, but it's what I like about it is the way in which you can share your screen within Zoom, and therefore everyone can see all the different pictures appearing, because otherwise they only get to see their own pictures on their own screen. They wouldn't be able to see all the pictures appearing that you can see as the teacher. So to me, the most important thing, in a way, is to be able to show that, show your screen, so the students can see all the different pictures of all the different participants all appearing in real time.
All right. And one more thing, is it possible for students to draw collaboratively within one screen?
Not with that tool, but you could with Google Jamboard. So if you wanted to look at Google Jamboard, you certainly can draw collaboratively in the same screen, but not in this one. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve pedagogically. I've just put that in the chat. Google Jamboard allows you to create a collaborative space. But what I would recommend, as I mentioned earlier in the webinar, is that let's say you've got 30 students, that you assign a number of students per slide, because if you have 30 students all taking part in the same slide, it will become chaotic, I would imagine. So if you say, right, this group is working on slide 1, this group is working on slide 2, this group is working on slide 3, etc., and then you would then get them to then draw all together, and they can add pictures and text and all the rest of it. Yeah.
All right. Now move on to Menti.com. Since in Menti we cannot see the student's ID or name, is there any alternative to Menti.com in which teachers can see who posted the answers?
That's a great question. Off the top of my head, there's one called Wooclap, which you could have a look at. I'm not sure if that is anonymous as well, but that's a similar tool to Mentimeter. You can use, I know, in Google Slides, there is the option for what's called Q&A. And if the students are all logged in to their Google account, then they can't post anonymously. You have to, or if they're all in the same domain, you can see who has posted. So that would be a way of having a Q&A whereby it's clear who has done what. There's also one called YoTeachApp.com, whereby they have to put a nickname in or a name in, and you could insist they put their actual name in. That also allows you to draw as well, YoTeachApp.com, which is also very nice.
Okay, that sounds a great alternative.
Fantastic.
Okay, another thing. I think we need suggestions for this. How could we know that a certain app needs good internet connection or not? So how do we evaluate whether or not it needs high bandwidth, low bandwidth? Is there any way to evaluate that?
Well, I would just suggest have a play. Obviously, anything involving video will require more bandwidth, but everyone's context is different, and it might be in certain parts of Indonesia, for example, that a lower bandwidth is the norm. So you need to factor that in. So, for example, the text-based tools should be fine with a lower bandwidth. But if you wanted to use, I don't know if Quizizz, for example, with the audio would work if you have less bandwidth, or certainly something like Flipgrid, whereby you're recording videos, you're uploading videos, that possibly wouldn't work in a low bandwidth environment. But I would just, with all these things, I can't possibly know about what your internet connection is like in your own context. You just need to have a play with it and work out what works and what doesn't work.
I think one more question for you about Charlala. Is it possible to keep the artwork there for indefinite amount of time, or it will be deleted like the one in Whiteboard.fi?
So it's the idea of Charlala, it's only going to be there for as long as you have the session active. If you want to download evidence of what they produced, you can do it in the way that I demonstrated using the masterpiece board and printing that off as or exporting that as a PDF. But these tools, I mean, yeah, these tools are designed to be used, or certainly the Whiteboard.fi and Charlala is designed to be used quick and easily with, in the case of Charlala, without the students needing any registration. In fact, like with Whiteboard.fi, nobody needs registration with that. So if you want to have something that's permanently, there, normally you need to have an account and all the rest of it. And there are advantages and disadvantages of that. With Charlala, if you print off what you've done as a PDF, you can save it to Google Drive if you wanted to. So you've got a permanent record of it. So it depends what you're trying to achieve. If it's just like a quick and easy way of doing drawing to convey meaning as an alternative to text, they're brilliant for that. If you want to make a permanent record of what they've done, you can do what I've suggested, e.g. save as PDF in Whiteboard.fi, using either the Save as PDF option in Chrome or using the Qt PDF Writer option. Likewise with Charlala, you can add images to a masterpiece board and then export that as a PDF.
Okay, thank you very much for the answers. I think
That's okay.
We have got lots of tools here. Today we have Mentimeter, Padlet, Wakelet, Whiteboard.fi, Quizizz, Socrative, Charlala, and what we need to do is play around with the tools and don't use it one at the time together. So thank you so much, Joe.
No
thank you so much to have fill out the feedback form. We really need that. And I think I will hand over to Com or Pak Jati. Do you want to say something to close this session?
Hi, Finita, and I'll say something. And hello, everybody. I think, obviously, I'm not a technical expert. I think at the beginning of today's webinar, you could hear my voice, but you couldn't see me because I forgot to turn on my video. So I've done that now. That's why we've invited Finita and Joe, more of the sort of the digital English language experts, to do these webinars. I just really wanted to thank Joe again for being with us this morning in the UK. For us in the afternoon, it's just, I can hear the mosque next to my house here in Jakarta. So it's prayer time for many people at the moment. So thank you for your patience in staying for this session. We have recorded it. I saw a couple of questions in the chat about feedback forms. We will try to email an English version of that for people from other countries so that you can give us some feedback in English. But basically, I wanted to say thanks to all of you. We know whether you're in the UK or whether you're in Indonesia, these are very, very challenging times, difficult times to be a teacher, to try to continue the education of your students whilst you're at home and they're at home. We've had a great session today on synchronous activity with Joe and making online learning more interactive and more fun. Tomorrow there's another session here. On Thursday, I'm very pleased to be able to tell you that we're inviting our friend Christiana from Romania, who you briefly met if you were in Joe's first webinar. So Christiana is coming back and she's going to give us a talk about the role that parents can play in supporting education from home and how teachers and parents can work together to make sure that the learning continues in an efficient and effective way. And then finally, not finally for this series, but another session that I'll just announce briefly is on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. We will have a British Council expert from South America called Graham Stanley. And Graham is going to be talking to us about remote teaching and especially some tips for you about using Zoom and engaging with your audience and remembering to turn your camera on, not like me. All right. So thanks, Joe. Thanks, Finita. And thanks, everybody, for being with us today. And I'll hand back to Finita.
Okay, thank you, Com. So just a reminder that tomorrow we'll have Mbak Neni from ITEL. She will give a presentation on evaluating online materials. I believe that it will be very interesting too. So tomorrow we'll be back again at 4 p.m. Indonesia time. And if you haven't got your ticket, please visit our website. Thank you very much. And I think that's all for today. See you tomorrow. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Com, Pak Jati, and Maria.
Bye-bye.